Archbishop Fulton Sheen once said, "There was never a preacher like the dying Christ. There was never a congregation like that which gathered about the pulpit of the cross. There was never a sermon like the 7 last words."
From noon onward, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. And about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you abandoned me?" Whenever I hear those words, "My God, why have you abandoned me?" it really signifies Jesus' weakest moment. He was put to trial, he was tortured, and he was crucified. He was left to die, and he felt abandoned, And during Lent, whenever I reflect on those words, I can't help but to reflect on my own life and how those words really speak to me. Being a victim of sexual abuse, I can't help but to think of the times when I really felt like God has abandoned me. I can't explain how many times I felt like, I can't explain how many times I really felt alone, as if no one was there for me. And there were times when I would look around the world and I wouldn't see an ounce of goodness in anyone or anything. And that's what I feel like, or how I feel, what it means to be abandoned, to not believe that no one is there for you, that there's nothing good for you. That's what I think of. But being a Christian, being a Catholic, even though you feel like even though you feel that God's not there, we know that He never abandons. He never abandons us, really. He's always there. He's always present. It's easy to see Jesus in the good parts of your life, but when it gets rough, I guess you don't really see Him at all, but the truth is He's always there. He's always present. When I was writing the reflection for this, I was listening to my iPod as I was writing it on my iPod, and my iTunes was on shuffle, and the song "She Is Love" came up, and the lyrics are, the first line or two, the lyric is, "I've been beaten down, but she takes it all for me." And that's what it means. And that's how we should look at suffering, When I feel beaten down and when I feel abandoned and I feel like I can't go on anymore, I remember that Jesus took it all on His cross. As a cradle Catholic, the image of Jesus on the cross is something that I've seen so many times. From kindergarten all the way to my high school, there was always a cross of Jesus crucified in the classroom. I saw it so many times. But during Lent, I really forced myself to reflect on what this image means. And when you look at the cross, when you look at Jesus' hands and feet nailed to the cross, you see Jesus at His weakest moment. Jesus is defeated. He is ridiculed by His peers, and even the authorities of his land, and this is his weakest, lowest moment. But we are told that Christ's weakness is stronger than our strength. My favorite Bible passage is from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9 through 10. And it goes, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. I will rather boast most gladly of my weaknesses, in order that the power of Christ may dwell with me. Therefore I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and constraints for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong.'" That passage is my daily motivation to get up and continue living, because if it wasn't for Christ, then if it wasn't for Christ, then I wouldn't know what or who to live for. It has helped me, Christ has helped me to be thankful for my weaknesses and for my battles, my daily battles. Because it's Christ's strength runs through me because I'm weak. And knowing that he is, that his strength can only happen in my weakness, then I will gladly accept every weakness and every problem that comes my way, because at least I know that God is with me and that he will help me through every day that is difficult and every day that is just hard to live through. And that is why I choose to be a Christian. When I made that decision to be a Christian, my life didn't get any easier. In fact, it might have gotten 10 times harder. But that's not the point of Christianity. Pope Benedict once said, "The world will offer you comfort. But we weren't made for comfort. We were made for greatness." A lot of people see weakness as defeat. But as Christians, we know that the cross isn't a sign of defeat. It's a sign of victory, of redemption, of vindication, of hope. So when I feel like I'm abandoned, when I feel like no one is there for me, when I feel like there's no goodness in the world, I can't help but to look at Jesus on the cross. Because he's with me. He's with me in my weakness. He's with me feeling abandoned. And at the same time, when I look to Jesus on the cross, it gives me hope.